I am live today with Austin Luliano, the Italian dynamo who deals in the business of Snapchat. This is an
That
interesting
is
guy.
true.
You're not even on audio yet, man. I'm just talking to myself. Anyways, give me a second and I'll introduce you all to Austin so you can actually hear him. You turn your audio on, mate. There we are.
Can you guys hear me?
You can hear you now. How are you, man?
I am fantastic. How are you, my friend?
Pretty good, dude. We had some interesting conversations yesterday about this and a million other things. But
Generally how it goes when two interesting people get together.
I think so. Let me make sure the audio's
Or
working.
one and a half. You're interesting. I'm halfway there.
Man, I haven't hit the stage where I'm dressing up and doing crazy unicorn stuff yet, so that's a whole nother next level of conversation.
Fair enough.
Dude, so I'll leave people hanging on that note, but what is your background and how do you get to where, what are you doing now, firstly, and what was your journey to get there?
Okay, so what I do now is I transform people's personal brands into massive marketing machines using the power of social media without spending a penny in advertising. So I teach people how to use all these tools that we have available to build up our brands, our business, to kind of achieve what you want to achieve. Maybe it's building your business so you make more money. Maybe it's just so you have more credibility, more opportunities. I've talked to millennials who have full-time jobs, but they just want to secure their future so they can have more opportunities, get that next raise. Personal branding is really where it's at in the next 5 years. It's just your ability to be credible and attract in interesting and unique opportunities. So that's what I do now. I got into it. It's a long story. I didn't go to school for this. I actually dropped out of college. I went to massage therapy school, ran my own business as a massage therapist, and met my girlfriend, ended up selling her graphic design services on the third date, and eventually that translated into doing marketing and social media marketing in particular, and just learning about this stuff. So it's a weird little thing that the dots kind of connect, but I never would have expected it.
Oh, rewind. You sold her graphic design services, or you sold graphic design services?
Yes. Yes. So on our third date, she was designing for a client when we were supposed to be on the date. And she's like, I'm so sorry. And I was like, well, what am I going to do? You're a cute girl. I'm not going to be all upset and walk away because I'm already here. So I just started asking her questions about it. She was explaining logos and color theory and all this other stuff that I had no idea about because that's not my background. And I'm like, well, I'm paying attention because we're on a date.
Yeah.
And this other guy came up and started talking to us. He happened to be like a photographer or something like that. And he gave me his business cards, and I was like, bro, can I be honest with you? I really think this business card, this logo doesn't represent your brand really well, because this, and this. Like, I think you should probably look at doing something a little bit better because your photography is really cool. He's like, you're right. Do you know somebody who could help me with that? And I'm like, yeah, her. Go talk to her. And then she kind of just looked at me and she was like, did you just sell my graphic design services for me? It's like, yeah. You were just telling me about it. I just told him about it. Like, that's all I do. And she's like, do you want to keep doing this? And I was like, sure.
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Do you want to keep
like, it's easy. Yeah, there was kind of that sort of agreement, if you know what I mean. I'm trying to keep this PC, but I was like, I'll scratch her back if you scratch mine.
Now, that definitely wasn't PC, but let's continue on. Okay, so accidentally just started seeing a girl, you start selling her services. How does that translate to what you're doing now?
Sure. So that translated into us doing a lot of graphic design, and then people like, hey, can you help us out with our marketing? Because graphic design and marketing go hand in hand, especially in a small town.
Yeah.
And so there were these businesses that were paying $1,000 for a full paid print ad in like the local, like, I don't know, like magazine. And I'm like, why are you paying $1,000 for a full paid print ad? And they're like, well, blah, blah, blah. Like, we got to do our marketing. And it's like, yeah, but there's like Facebook advertising over here. I was like, better than that, there's just Facebook. Why don't you just start posting on Facebook? And so I started teaching people this because like $1,000 in Facebook ads gets you a lot more money and a lot more ROI than a full page print ad in a local magazine. And just through like teaching and doing it, I kind of started building up a reputation for myself. And then Snapchat and all these other platforms came out, and so I was teaching those things too. And it's this really interesting thing. When you start having to teach other people what you know, you become really good at what you know because you have to break it down into a really simple formula for people to understand. So it's an interesting journey, but it really just all came to being in service of others and helping others like learn something I already knew how to do. And that's how I got into it, really.
Okay, so you've kind of been doing it just in a very natural context, just helping yourself, helping your girlfriend, a little bit of it in the work context, but you're still very much a massage therapist that just use it for yourself, I'm assuming. Yes,
that was like 5 years ago, the massage therapy. But like as I grew, like I got brands on my portfolio, startups. I helped my clients make over $2 million in revenue. So it started, yes, very organically, very naturally, like, hey, this is what I know. Here's a few tips. Here's a few tricks. But then, like, as I went down the rabbit hole, going deeper and deeper, learning more and more, I got excited by it. And then I just started implementing it for myself, teaching my clients, helping people build personal brands. So it's this evolution of just progressively getting better and learning more and teaching more.
Okay. How do we go from Facebook, which is very much a natural platform, to Snapchat where no one understands?
Sure. So Facebook wasn't a natural platform. If you think about it, when it first came out 10 years ago, Facebook, the primary purpose of it...
to MySpace. It's like, what's this new thing?
Yeah, well, if you watch the whole movie about it, it's very accurate. Facebook was about how do I get to hook up with the girl in, 4B or whatever, because that's what you wanted to do. Or find out if the guy in your chemistry class, like, happens to like what you like. Like, that was what it was. So Facebook is established now and people understand it kind of from a business perspective, but it has 10 years. So when Snapchat first came out, I, of course, got on it because of all the inappropriate reasons to be on Snapchat, because that's what it was for, And
that's right. Every huge platform seems to have started off that way.
So that's like, look, it is just how it is. You know what I mean? That is the history of it. Let's not be romantic about it. Like, that's why people got on.
Well, if we're talking about technology at this point, like video has developed as a form of other video sources. That's why it's progressed so rapidly.
Exactly. I mean, it drives us, but it is what it is. So Snapchat, I first got on because of that. Obviously, it evolved. When stories started happening, I thought it was really cool. I'm a natural storyteller, and I like making people laugh. So I just started doing things to make my friends laugh on Snapchat. I would just be silly, be myself. And it was my area where I wasn't doing all the like professional stuff. I was just doing what I enjoy doing. And people started consuming it and watching it, and they kept coming back, and I kept getting bigger and bigger. And then Gary Vaynerchuk popped in and was like, hey, everybody needs to be on Snapchat. And this huge wave of new people came in. They're like, how do I do this? How do I do this? So on my Snapchats, I just started teaching people. I'm like, okay, here's how you do this. Here's how you do this. And every kind of few days, I'd come up with a new tip or trick or something like that. And then I just asked my audience, I was like, hey, who would like a course going through this entire thing? And there were so many people who were like, yes. So I made it a Snapchat course, which got picked up by AppSumo, which is amazing, and it just kind of just builds from there. I don't believe life has a linear progression. For instance, Casey Neistat, he's one of the top YouTubers, vloggers. He was doing it for like 18 months, a vlog every single day. Yesterday, he announced he's done. Yeah, right? And he talks about this idea of you're in a jungle swinging from rope to rope and you have to let go and pursue the next thing. I think it's an accurate assessment because it's not a linear path. It's just like, how do I do whatever I'm doing now as best as I possibly can and then go do the next thing that comes into my life?
It's a funny thing. I think a lot of entrepreneurs, we're sold this idea of you need to know exactly where you need to go, down to granular detail, which I believe is true to an extent, but you need to allow for change and, I guess, movement in that journey.
I mean, if I had to know where I'm going every single day, like if I was like, I'm not moving until that happens, I would still not be anywhere in life. It's kind of this like, this is just for me personally, this is my journey. I just kind of leap into things. Like my girlfriend was like, do you want to sell graphic design services? I was like, I have no sales experience other than what I do for massage therapy. I have no marketing experience other than what I did for massage therapy. I don't know this. I don't know how to price it. Like there was so many reasons why I could say no, but I was just like, sure.
Let's do it.
Yeah, just let's do it. And then I figured it out. And like you fail along the way like anything else, but one of my first jobs was a snowboard instructor, and the thing I would teach people is no matter how good you are as a snowboarder or how bad you are, you're going to fall down. And if you don't fall down, you're not trying hard enough, because that means you got a system down and you're never deviating from it, never trying to get better. So I was like, look, the first thing we're going to do is learn how to fall down and be safe for snowboarding. But from then on, I want to see you fall. I want to see you pushing yourself. I want to see you doing things you could never do, like the first time you come to do snowboarding. So the second time, the third time. And like they would laugh because I would fall down because I'd be doing dumb things, practicing and getting better myself. They're like, ha ha ha, the teacher fell down. I'm like, well, yeah, of course.
Break the limits, you push forwards.
Okay. Yeah, so like fail forward. Don't be afraid of failure. Like failure means you're trying something that you've never done before that's much bigger than what you currently can do, and be proud of yourself for failing. Like get up and go again.
I want to be the arsehole here and really grill you on what Snapchat's for. Like, I don't understand. Why would business people be using Snapchat as a platform where people are just taking photos of themselves with dog ears and everything? What's the purpose?
What's a spatula for?
Generally cakes.
Okay. What's a screwdriver for?
To screw tools in with screws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those things have a purpose, but they're tools. You can use them for whatever you want. Snapchat is just a tool, right?
Okay.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Medium, Vine, Musical.ly, like Periscope. All those things are just tools. It's how you use the platform, right?
Okay.
If you think, for instance, like, I'm going to put out some tweets that say, hey, buy my product, and then I'm going to get sales, doesn't work, right? If you think you're going to make a Facebook post that you're going to be like, hey, buy my product, not going to work, right? It's a tool. But if you go, hey, I'm going to use Facebook or Twitter or Snapchat to talk to an audience and build relationships, right? Learn about them, actually care about them, and see how I can bring value to their life, you will successfully not only do that, but then create sales.
I guess we kind of discussed this earlier when we had our conversation. It's more because of what Snapchat is, you don't have that pretense of people seeing you as large or big. You can be whatever you want because they don't see your followers and all that stuff.
Yep. Which is nice.
Yeah, can you elaborate a bit more on how that favors in the business context?
Sure. So think about when you're on Instagram. right?
Okay.
I'm on Instagram and I get somebody to follow me, right? For whatever mechanism that they decide to follow me. I look at them and I see they have 10,000 followers and they're only following about maybe 300 people, right? I look at that and I go, you just followed me and unfollowed me because you want me to follow you, right? You don't actually care about me. You're doing this as a mechanism to try and sell to me and try and get me to like pay attention
So
to you, but
superficial.
not reciprocate, right? So I can look at this and I can vet, right? And
Yeah.
vice versa. Maybe I look at somebody and I go, hey, you have 700 followers and you're following about 2,000 people. Okay, now I'm liking this because like there's this mechanism we get to look at and make our determination, right? It's not about the content. It's about these vanity numbers. And I know this because I'm friends with lots of like Instagram influencers and they care very much about having that high perceived value. Like they need 10, 20, 50,000 followers, but only be following a small number, right?
Okay.
Does that make sense so
Yeah,
far?
it's perception. It's
Yeah.
perception of numbers.
It's a
which is,
perception
again,
thing. Exactly. Snapchat, there's zero perception. The only perception there is what is the content you're making? If I like the content you're making, then I will continue to follow you, right? You don't know if they are the biggest Snapchatter in the world or just like a tiny normal person. It doesn't really matter. It's all about the content. And so from a business perspective, this works extremely well because you have the same amount of attention as Coca-Cola does or gummy bears or any of these like massive brands, right? You have the same opportunity. Granted, they have a higher distribution. Yes, they have more brand recognition.
Yeah.
But when somebody watches your snap or their snap, it's the same amount of time and you get the same opportunity. So
attention.
it's attention. So if brands look at something like Snapchat and go, hey, if I can execute on this platform, if I can tell stories, if I can engage my audience, get them excited, learn about them, build really deep relationships, well, I can grow my base, And a small business growing a base of 1,000 hardcore Snapchat fans that watch your content is 10 times more powerful than having 100,000 Twitter followers because like one tweet disappears in like 30 minutes or less. For me, if you put a tweet out and it's on the normal timeline, I don't even see it because I get so many tweets per second. So like it's all about having that attention of the consumer. That's all Snapchat is. There's massive attention and a massive ability to build really deep relationships.
I guess what I'm starting to see, at least in my perception, it's gone from very much the teens and, like you said, people who are using Snapchats for its original purpose to more people who I'd seen my demographic starting to enter the platform and actually use it as a place for them to hang out with friends. And occasionally, yes, they'll follow people who they have admiration for or who put out good content.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's absolutely true. There's about something like 85 to 90% of the millennial market is on Snapchat. Pretty much every single millennial. Like, if you throw a rock, you're going to hit a millennial on Snapchat, So
Yeah.
you're not going to see much growth in that department. Actually, the over 35 demographic outgrew the millennial demographic this last quarter by like 52%. It's
That's
just massively
what I'm
exploding.
starting to see, and that's what I'm very interested in myself. The over 35 market.
Yeah, exactly. And because what happens is the parents look at the kids and go, so what is this thing you're on? And they'll jump on because that's what happened with Facebook and with Instagram and all the other platforms. And of course the kids are like, I don't want my mom on here, But like anything else, then they finally like get used to it and they're snapping. Like my mom sends me silly snaps of her making silly faces with the face filters, and I just laugh at that. I'm like, cool, mom, I'll send things back. Granted, I'm 29, so I'm smart enough not to put nasty things on the internet and get myself in trouble.
I think it's at a stage now where we've had very serious social platforms. Like MySpace was a little bit fun, Facebook was fun, but it's gotten serious. But now Snapchat is playful, and it's going to stay playful just by its very nature. So you've got people who are generally adults and are told not to express themselves being allowed to be on a platform where the whole purpose is to express yourself and be playful with it. I think that's an interesting phenomenon.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we're all giant kids at heart. We all like being silly in the context that it's allowed by society. In something like Snapchat, you're allowed to be silly. It's socially acceptable to put on the weird face filter of you turning into a pineapple and being like, this is weird, right? Or put on the dog filter that everybody does and like crack up at it because it's socially acceptable. We all need that. Play is a really massively important part of our lives. So Snapchat is giving us that facility to play and just be silly and be natural. You know, it's not LinkedIn. LinkedIn's the opposite of it. Like, you're not supposed to have a personality on LinkedIn.
Of course not. It's a very serious business platform. You got to be very serious.
Very serious.
Yeah. Okay. Who is it not for?
It's not for people who don't want to do it. Right? That's the easiest answer. Like, if you don't want to do it, you don't want to put the time in, you don't want to snap, it's not for you.
Okay. Let me rephrase that. Who will see the best returns out of using Snapchat as opposed to they should spend the time on a platform like Facebook or, like you said, LinkedIn?
Okay. So if you're talking about ROI in the form of money, all right, I will be honest. Facebook is still the number one platform when it comes to generating ROI in the context of really targeted Facebook ads, really targeted community building, like outreach and things like that. Facebook has been around. Everybody is on Facebook. Like, you got to give the respect where it's due. They've created a massively successful platform.
It's got massive
That being said, there's only one real competitor when it comes to Facebook, and that happens to be Snapchat. Because Facebook bought out Instagram, so Instagram is Facebook. You know, Facebook buys out any competition. They have live streaming with Facebook Live. They're pretty much are killing Twitter slowly. Periscope, I love Periscope. It's a great platform. But literally you have Periscope or Facebook Live, and you could do either of them, and they both serve the same purpose. Yeah. Most people are sticking to Facebook Live that I am noticing. Now, I could be wrong here, but
the very fact we're doing this interview is a testament to that.
Yeah, exactly. So you have Facebook Live, you have Instagram, you have Facebook, you have the advertising mechanism. Like, Facebook almost has a monopoly on this. The one thing they don't have is the attention of the millennial demographic and have what Snapchat has. They're trying with Instagram stories. So if you're looking to target millennials or that demographic, you gotta be on Snapchat. Seriously, it's like there's no point in trying to do it on Facebook or on Instagram when you could be on Snapchat really just killing it. If you have an event-based business, like you are a wedding photographer, you can do an absolute killing on Snapchat with the Snapchat geo filters, customizing them to different locations and things like that. Get so much exposure for such a cheap price. It's silly not to be creating a geo filter for, I don't know, you can go on Fiverr and get one for $5, put it up for every single event you go to, and just get a lot more exposure. If you're building a personal brand, seriously, Snapchat is so powerful for it. Not necessarily for the storytelling. Like, that is great. I love the storytelling, and I say implement it. But just for the pure fact of being able to network with people every single day. Like, if you want to watch your business explode, what you do, take any single platform. I don't care which one it is. Snapchat's great for this. This is why I like it. You take any single platform and you contact 25 people every single day. And what you say to each of those people is, hey, I want to learn more about you, what you do. I want to know how I can help you, and who can I connect you to, right? Not how can I sell to you, right? But how can I connect you? How can I bring value to you? How can I help you do whatever you're looking to do? And if you're honest about it and you actually want to do it, you'll soon start being that person that connects people, and then it turns around and they start connecting you, and you get a ton more.
Can you say that again? Because I'm going to write this down.
Okay. It's a trade secret, all
okay,
right?
trade secret.
You're not allowed to tell anybody. We can't do it on Facebook Live, so you can't tell anybody.
I promise this won't be shared with anyone outside of our current conversation.
Okay. Take any social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. I personally like Snapchat because you have the ability to do videos, you have the ability to record audios. It's the core functionality of Snapchat is communication and messaging. That's why I like it, and it works really well. But you contact 25 people a day and just say, hey, I want to get to know you further, learn more about you, what you're looking to achieve, something like that. Like learning about them, actually caring about whoever you're talking to. Not looking for an opportunity to sell, but just like, hey, tell me more about you. How can I connect you to somebody? How can I help you? Who is it you're looking to get connected to? What would make your business, your life more successful, right? Because you'd be surprised how many people that you can actually connect. After I get off a call with somebody, I'm connecting them 2, 3, 4 people because they're like, yeah, I'm doing a podcast. I need more guests. I'm like, well, I happen to know tons of entrepreneurs who need to be on podcasts. Here's a list of 10 people, right?
I think that's funny. A lot of really, I'm going to quote unquote, successful people just do that naturally. I don't think it's a mental process we've written down. I think it's just something that we do because we want you to be successful. We want our friends to be successful. We just want to connect people.
Yeah. There's a phrase, a rising tide lifts all boats, and when you start putting out more out there and trying to help as many people, Napoleon Hill first put it down in this 16 Laws of Success. Yeah, Think and Grow Rich. Do more than you're paid for, and soon you'll be paid for more than you do. And it's the easiest way I have found to do more than I'm paid for. Let me just start connecting people. Let me start helping people. Let me be in the service of others as much as I possibly can. And then you just make awesome friends with really cool people. And they like, hey, let me help you out because I want to help you out. Great.
I almost consider the linchpin effect. Once you're seen as the person that everyone connects to, your personal brand, your personal story starts to be spread because you're being injected into conversations that you don't even know are occurring in a positive light. And people go, okay, well, this person connected me to this person, and you start being that influencer in that way as well.
Yeah, and it works extremely well. So do that every single day for the rest of your life. 25 people a day. Watch how fast your brand explodes. That alone, there you go. That's how you do it on social media. Just take that one thing and start executing on it.
How do you actually find people to connect with on Snapchat? Because it's a weird platform in that sense.
Sure. There are many mechanisms. Hey there. So, of course, there's like ghost codes and things like that. There's social medias. There's Facebook groups. There's all these mechanisms you can use outside of Snapchat to get found. One of the best ways internally I have found to get connected to other people is find people I like what they're doing. I think they have great content. I enjoy their message, and I collaborate with them. So I go, how can I help your Snapchat grow? Would you like to do a takeover with me? You want to switch accounts? That's pretty easy for a way to grow your own Snapchat. You go on somebody who has 1,000 views on Snapchat and you have 500 to 1,000 views. You're going to get more people following you. You're going to get more connections. That's the easiest way, seriously, and I love it. Just start connecting with other people and start collaborating with them. If you're in a small town and you don't have anybody, go to your local college. Every college kid's on Snapchat.
Okay.
There's actually I have an entire 9-day training for anybody who really wants to grow. Because I can spout a whole bunch of things out, but I have it all down. If you go to dscience.co/Snapchat, You sign up, I'll send you the 9-day training. It's pretty awesome. So I go through all the different mechanisms to grow. And there's a ton more.
dscience.co/Snapchat?
Yes. dscience.co/Snapchat. D as in David, the word science,
Okay.
.co/Snapchat. And I think I give you a 30-day checklist too.
Nice. There you go. Free 9-day Snapchat training. That's really cool.
Yeah.
It's cool.
So anybody who wants it, take it. Enjoy it. You'll grow your followers. It's not going to happen overnight. Like, you're not going to get 10,000 views, overnight. But if you keep working,
I'm not going to get 10,000 views overnight, man. I'm out. Done.
You would with that handsome smile.
Charmer, you. Cool. So we got Snapchat. And you kind of had a bit of conversation about what's going on. What's next? What do we do? We're starting to grow a platform. You're finding people on different avenues. You're starting to build it. How do you actually convert that to business? Is it that one-on-one conversation when you start talking to people via, I don't know, some messaging component, or is it a way of giving them links, or how do you actually get them to further your sales process?
Yes. All of it.
Yes.
So first and foremost, it's definitely conversations, right? Like, so many people are like guessing who their target market is. They're guessing the needs of their target market, and they don't actually know. The number one thing I can suggest to people who are still like trying to figure this all out is get on the phone with what you think your target demographic is. Snapchat has the ability. You can literally call somebody, so you don't even need their phone number. You just start messaging back and forth, talking, and be like, yo, do you want to talk? I would love to learn more about you. This whole conversation. You get on the phone with them. By hitting the little button in Snapchat, you call them, you start talking to them. You get to first be like, how cool is this that we can do this in Snapchat? And then you actually get to know them and be like, oh, why do you want to?
Most people don't really realize that either. Same with what I found with Facebook. No one really understands that there is a call feature, there is a video feature, and all this cool stuff. They're like hidden under another layer.
Yeah, it's such a deep platform for functionality. It's really cool. But like, you talk to these people, right? And you get to learn not only what they want, what they need, why they want it. You get to hear the language that they use, and you have this deeper understanding. When you actually do that, say you talk to 100 people this way, and they're all in your target demographic, well, then you're going to be able to create a product that really speaks to them that's naturally going to sell itself. Maybe it's a consulting package to help them overcome their fear of skydiving, because that happens to be what it is, or something. I don't know.
Interesting here. So I've got a few people here that I might actually be able to get you to run a case study on, or run a little example. So I've got a guy who runs a company that trains mortgage brokers how to actually sell more and improve their mortgage business. How would they use Snapchat?
Okay. So the first thing you'd want to do is you train people in mortgages how to sell more mortgages. Is that correct?
He's training company for mortgage brokers, so trains mortgage brokers how to get more business. Okay.
So what I would do is I would start by using Snapchat as a Snapchat stories by storytelling different tips, right? You go about your day, like probably you're going to be in meetings and things like that, right? Maybe you go to a meeting, you don't actually snap it, but the meeting doesn't go so well. There's a challenge that comes up. The person says, oh, X, Y, and Z. It's an objection, but you overcome that objection, because that's part of the training, like how to overcome these objections. I'm making this up. I don't know this industry, but I'm making it up with how I imagine it. Yeah. So I would go on there and I'd talk about overcoming objections, right? I would do a whole, like maybe week on how to overcome different objections. What is the psychology behind it? Maybe it's, this is the different aspects of selling and mortgages and things like that, educating people on the market. I would also look at doing some really interesting things. Gary Vaynerchuk talks about in Crush It, becoming a media company, producing content around your business and becoming that like media company. You take that same philosophy, but you apply it to Snapchat, and it's different mechanisms. I would then also look at collaborating with some other people in that space, using something like ghost codes to find people who are into real estate, mortgages, and things like that. Connecting with those people, going onto their accounts and doing some really interesting content. The people who come over, when you talk to them, right, they're going to know that space. They're going to already be interested in it. Then you start talking to them. You have those conversations, right? That's going to lead into, I'm just getting my real estate license. I'm having trouble selling my first home. And you're like, well, I happen to have this free training ebook, whatever, and you're in a one-on-one message and they're like, oh my God, can I get that? And you're like, yeah, here's the link. Or you send them a video like, go to my website, it's right there, right? Or something like that. So they go and they sign up because there's that accountability. That's how you do it. And you convert them. I'm going to be honest, you're going to convert them one at a time. It's not like Facebook ads that run all the time, but you're going to have a much higher conversion because we're having this conversation. And the thing is, you can have 50 of these conversations a day, convert 50 new leads a day, because you're just like rapidly blasting through them. They're just it's like texting or sending little video messages. It's not difficult. It doesn't take much time, but 50 new leads a day for a business could be great. That obviously takes a lot of work. I'm not going to deny that, but even somebody getting
depth of connection there is worthwhile, especially whilst you can. And I think it's what I've noticed with a lot of people who have huge businesses. It's not so much about the quantity, but like you said, they still go and do it themselves. They take the phone out, they reply to the tweet, they reply to the message, they reply to that Snapchat. You're going to get everyone, but that depth of connection is huge.
Yeah, too many businesses fail at social media because they think, how do we get more reach? How do we get more people paying attention to us? And it's like, stop worrying about trying to get more. Look at the audience you already have, and how can you make those people super fans of what you're doing? Maybe they won't buy from you because only about 20% of the people actually watching you will ever buy from you, that's statistically speaking. But the other 80% is amazing because that other 80% you're like, hey, all right, you're not going to buy from me, but I'm a mortgage guy. Well, I want to go on the biggest mortgage podcast that there is out there to set myself up as an authority. Do you happen to know anybody who runs these sort of podcasts? Maybe it won't be the biggest one, but maybe there will be one. Now all of a sudden you're on a podcast in front of 1,000 people, which is great, and you get to talk, right? They can give you the distribution networks you need. They can bring referrals. There's so many other things that other 80% can do. So it's about building those relationships, and it will scale in time where you'll get more reach. But focus on making awesome friends with the people who are currently watching you.
Okay. Here's another one. It's a totally different concept. Local businesses, hair salons, beauty salons, lash bars.
Oh, so easy. So easy. Okay. First off, I don't have it. I'll be right back.
Okay.
So
we're a moving podcast now. This is exciting.
Yes, moving podcast. Give me 1 second, people. Okay. You ready for this?
Luliano. I'm ready for it.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Okay. Local businesses. Go to any place online or your local printer and get QR code stickers.
Yes.
Okay? All right.
I want one.
You get these. I'll send them to you.
Done.
You get QR code stickers. I'll send them to anybody. And you start slapping those things up all over your local area because you want to get people following you. And here's the thing. I put this in my training. Having this customized QR code, like that center image that relates to your brand, is going to increase the people adding you by about 20 to 40% compared to if it was just a regular thing. Because it grabs people's attention, they love it, and then they're like, hey, I want to figure out what this is. So if you're a hair salon, maybe you do something with like girl and her hair or something like that. Like, you got to make it make sense for what your brand is and what you're selling. You slap those stickers all around. people are going to add you. You do creative stories. You do tips, beauty, hair tips, makeup tips, things like that. Every single day, do a different story, right? How to do an updo or how to do this or whatever. Like, teach people how to do what you do and you get paid for it. Exactly. Because there's a certain demographic that is just not going to do it. Or maybe it's like why you don't want to have some sort of procedure done by yourself. You want to spend the $400 because these are the things that can go wrong. Again, guy, I don't know this stuff. I just know it in hearsay.
You create
content. Yeah, I got a girlfriend, so I just hear when things go wrong. You create content like that on a daily basis, really helping people. And then very simply you go, hey, Black Friday's coming up. Come in for your hair with this coupon for the next 24 hours and you get, $100 off or whatever it is. And so you put something up. They have to screenshot it, come in there and show it to you. Hey, it's up 24 hours. I'm making my reservation. Boom, they get that discount. Because it's a fast offer. Yeah. Yeah.
So what is there a mix you have there? Like what you recommend for values/offers, or is it very much individual basis?
So it's one of those things like people think selling is somehow you're going to take value away from your consumers, right? I can guarantee you, because I've done it, if you story tell effectively and you give tons of value, even in your sales part, you will add more value. So like a girl who sends you a message that's like, hey, I have this wedding, my girl got sick, I can't do this, can you come in? Instead of being like, oh, well, it's last minute, it's $500, you go, you know what, we can squeeze you in. It's going to be tight. Yeah, the price is like $500, but we can do this. All of a sudden, they're over the moon happy because you solved a pain point. It doesn't matter that it was $500, right? It's like she had a wedding and then her person canceled. Like, it's her most important day. So like, even in sales, you can be adding a ton of value. Money is just a form of energy exchange. So when it comes to like how much you should sell versus how much you should give value, your sales process should never feel like you're selling. It should be like it's story selling. Yeah, you should be giving people an opportunity to buy. There's a difference. Like, you don't have to buy, but here's an opportunity. If you want to come in for this flash sale, you can. If you want to just enjoy our content, you can.
It's kind of the thing that you were saying before. Like, if you got something valuable, you need to give it to your marketplace. Like, by you not giving them that opportunity, you're doing them a disservice. Like,
yeah. What if you had a system to reliably feed every homeless person in the entire world, right?
Yeah.
Would that be a disservice if you didn't give that out?
Or if you didn't let's take that concept a bit further. If you had a system that you can do that, but governments need to take action on it and they need to purchase some sort of system from you or your partners or whatever, you don't care who sells it to them. As a
Look at Elon Musk, right? Elon Musk just came out with these new tile roofs that are going to be cheaper than a normal roof, last longer, look better, and provide energy, right? Now he's asking people to buy that, but isn't it worth it? Like, he literally can change the world with something like this. Like, yes, there's going to be a cost. You got to get a roof. That's something we all have to do. So why not pay for something that is going to bring you more value, right? It's like, that's the concept of every sale. If you're going to charge somebody $200 for a product, there better be $1,000 in value. Otherwise, it's not a good sale.
Yeah. Perfect. I think that's a fantastic point of view of how selling and everything should work. But
does that answer your question?
That does answer my question. I'm trying to work out if I've got any more questions. You've answered everything so well. What else do you think the audience should know that we haven't yet explored?
It's not about the platform.
Okay.
Okay? It's not about the platform. It's never about the platform. The platform is a tool. Really, when it comes to social media, building your personal brand using social media, it's mostly a mindset thing. I noticed that, and I don't know if anybody
Hmm.
listening to this, if it's going to resonate or not, but there's a lot of people who are very scared about getting out there, being on camera, putting your message out there, selling yourself. They're like, oh
Hmm.
God, I don't want to be sleazy or salesy or, like I don't want to annoy people.
Hmm.
Look, that is a limiting belief you have about yourself. I don't care who you are. If you have a product that legitimately can help people, transform people's lives, they don't care how much you sell to them, right?
Hmm.
Like, I will listen every single day to an advertisement for Charity Water. It's a great organization that's making the entire world have healthy, clean drinking water. That's a great thing. I donate to it every week because
Hmm.
I love their organization, right? They can sell to me as much as they want because, I believe in something that they do. I will never
Yeah.
get upset by that. They add value to my life because I feel good about donating to them. It's Don't have a limiting
Hmm.
belief about yourself. Invest in yourself. Learn the value you bring to the table and really like just sit down and be like, what value do I bring? And everybody has value.
Hmm.
Sometimes you just got to figure it out. And if you don't know what it is, just start serving others. Just start
Hmm.
helping people. And very soon your value is going to come forward. So it's not about the platform. Like Snapchat could go tomorrow. I will still be successful
Yeah.
because I'll be on to the next platform. It's
It's
just a
audience.
tool.
It's where your people are.
Exactly.
So meet
Yeah.
them where they're at and use whatever methodology, whatever systems they have on that platform to assist you. But ultimately, it's never about the platform. It's about the connection you have with the people on that platform who will move with you if you truly have a connection with them.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Like I said, is there any other places that people should go to learn about you to enter the world of Austin Luliano?
Sure. So if you want to connect with me on any social media, it's my name, Austin, AustinIuliano. All one word, Austin Juliano. That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, anything. Of course, austinjuliano.com is also my website, but the main one I use is dscience.co. D as in David, the word science, SCIENCE.co. We share tons of free resources, tons of blog articles, tons of everything on there of just really practical step by step advice. So if you're looking to build and you don't have a budget, start there. Start consuming really great content from people who have already done it. Not just myself, but like anybody who's doing it really well, and learn and invest in yourself and like just start executing.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, my friend. At this hold on, I've got a question here. Let's see what they say. Sure, let's go to tracking. That's another question. Maybe you can answer this in the comments a bit later.
Okay.
Somebody asking about basically tracking and how you can measure the success you have on Snapchat. Basically.
Sure. So there's a few metrics. I'll just briefly
Okay.
go over this. You have views or opens, however you want to call it. Screenshots is another one. So those are the metrics that are given to you in Snapchat naturally. The other way I track personally, I use Google Analytics and Bitly. Bitly is a URL shortener. So if I'm talking to somebody in Snapchat, I want to send them to a certain landing page, I will use Bitly to track how many times people have actually clicked, how many clicks I've done in total, and like in like 1 month for one landing page, I sent 192 clicks. I know those through Bitly. Of those 192 clicks, I got 178 signups to that one thing, right? That's a really high percentage.
Is this covering that training you sent for us earlier? Or? Yeah, perfect.
That's in my full
Full
training.
training. Okay.
So I do have a full training for anybody who like really wants to learn Snapchat. If you go to let me think, So if you go to, I'm going to give everybody the deal right now. AppSumo's promoting it. If you go to appsumo.com/Snapchat Mastery, all one word, you can get my course, which is $279 for $25 right now. It's a crazy good deal.
Can you do us
Otherwise,
a favor? Put that link in the comments as well, and I'll do the same. Me post up in other places.
yeah,
Perfect.
absolutely. Yeah. So go there, pick it up. It's lifetime access.
No brainer, guys. I mean, $25. That's. I think you've probably learned a lot in this conversation we've had now, but just the fact that you can go into his training and actually pick it up for a bargain. Thanks to AppSumo, guys. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I think we'll better wrap it up, and you can have the rest of your day with your awesome girlfriend. But
Thank you.
Give me a minute, and I'll call you back. All right.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Make sure to connect with me. I'll see you all soon.